Thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank everyone for the opportunity to share the platform with such distinguished defenders of liberty and such distinguished speakers. But most of all, let me thank you for being here and caring enough to come hear us talk and to share your ideas about liberty. Some of you are thinking, a professor? Because a professor is someone who can explain how a watch works but can't tell time. Well, tonight I'm not going only to explain how the watch works. I'm going to tell you what time it is. There are 5 things I'd like to talk about tonight. I only have 3.5 hours to do that. I noticed some of you looking at your watches there. I'd like to talk to you about 5 themes. And the first is that human prosperity always stems from economic freedom. And economic freedom is based on 2 fundamental human values. The first is reason, and the second is individualism. I'm going to suggest to you that both reason and individualism are under attack, that economic freedom thereby is under attack, and that economic freedom is necessary for political freedom to mean anything. Entrepreneurship and prosperity have a deep connection. Entrepreneurship is what I teach every day in my professional life. I talk to people about how they can become more prosperous by becoming entrepreneurs. In fact, I've written a book called Empty Nest Egg, Why You Must Start Your Own Business Now. It's available in the back of the room for $10 a copy, or you can buy 10 copies for $100. If you think you just got a discount, I have some other business deals I'd like to talk to you about after the program tonight. First, let's talk about what it takes to have entrepreneurship, which is the creation of new value in an economy. The first thing that's required is creative thought. From the first time we realized we could take our natural environment and make it suitable to our human needs, we cease to be gatherers in the sense that we pick up and eat what has fallen to the ground or hope that maybe an animal will die conveniently at our feet. It takes creative thought in order to use things in our environment to make life better. This really is the essence of what it means to be a human being. We're not creatures that are beholden only to the things that happen to us in our environment. However, creative thought is not enough. Once a creative idea is formed in the human mind, we have to take action, productive action. And all economic activity starts with that fundamental action to make something more valuable. Fortunately, we human beings have discovered that each of us as individuals are limited in the kinds of value that we can create for ourselves. And so, we have arranged to trade things with each other. If I make blankets better than you make bows and arrows, and we trade, we're both better off in the end. And because of specialization and mutual trade, we have reached levels of well-being on this planet that no other species could even dream of if they could dream. Fortunately, we also came up with a very handy concept of money. Now, some of our other speakers, no doubt, will address the issue of money. But what this does is it allows us in a very sophisticated way to exchange value with each other and become better off in so many ways every second of every day that the wealth of humanity can continue to increase almost infinitely. The foundation of economic freedom and entrepreneurship intellectually is reason. There was a time when knowledge was what the church or the monarch said it was. Why? Well, because they're the church and the monarch, right? Now, once we discovered the scientific method, with the rise of the Enlightenment, we discovered that individual human beings each have a channel to reality. If we want to know how something works, we observe it or we conduct an experiment. And once we discovered this, there was an explosion of wealth on the planet, especially in our country, in which not only did we have the fundamental human value of reason, but it was coupled with the value of individualism. Individualism in the realm of reason simply meant that we could look at the stars as individuals and tell what was going on as well as anyone else. We didn't have to rely on a mediator between us and the knowledge of reality. Individualism emerged because we realized that this fundamental isolation, in one sense, made us each kings and queens of our own environment. Once freed from this, it was no wonder that we applied this at the time of our founders to the realm of political activity. If I don't need to check with you about what's reality, I also don't need to check with you about how to run my life. As an individual, I'm perfectly capable of deciding what I'd like to do as long as I don't harm someone else in the process. Unfortunately, today, we see some significant threats to both reason and individualism. The first is postmodernism. Does anybody here know what postmodernism is? Only a philosopher could love postmodernism. And I don't want to pick on the French, but this was French postmodernists tended in the late 70s and early 80s to come up with an idea that there's no such thing as the reality that we all know as individuals we're observing each and every day. That instead, reality is a collection of narratives. Narratives, as far as I can discern in postmodern thought, are the stories that we tell. And some stories work better than others for postmodernists. What we have found is those are usually very far left on the political spectrum. We also see a tendency toward intellectual collectivism. We've come to view reality as something that is belonging to a group of people rather than each individual. And you're going to love this one, apocalypsism. Okay, that's right, I just made that word up. It's my word and you can't have it, okay? I might let you pay a royalty to use it. Okay? What is apocalypsism? There was a Simpsons episode one time. Anybody watch The Simpsons here? Good. Quit school and watch The Simpsons, okay? That's all you need to know about life. At one episode of The Simpsons, there was a news trailer that announced the news program that was going to come on, and it said, "A popular soft drink will kill you instantly. We'll tell you which one at 11. Every time I pick up the paper, I see, courtesy of the popular media, that we're about to die, burn up, or explode for some reason that I can't understand. This has not only made us a nation of worrywarts, it has given power to people because fear puts people in a position where they are less able to defend their rights because their reason has been compromised.